All right, welcome back. Happy Wednesday, pre-holiday Wednesday. July 4th is, well, tomorrow here in the States, Independence Day. If you celebrate that kind of holiday, be safe around fireworks, of course. I still have a scar as a kid when I was back in New York on my left leg. So if you celebrate this kind of holiday, be safe. Yeah, stay as far away from fireworks as you can. We'll get started here in a few minutes. A lot of news, tech news, not just Linux, but Windows ransomware is back, evidently. A lot of Linux news. I came across an article. Yeah, I came across an article that perhaps the Linux desktop is not going to, well, we'll talk about that in a moment. Let me get to the chat here. I just got, I'm finishing up a workout. I still need to shower and shave, so no camera today, just my friendly voice. I hope it's friendly. Let me check the chat here real quick. Johan, I'm doing fine. Frost Ranger of the Frozen Realm. Hello. ZBD Boss says nice clickbait. Well, not really, Z, but welcome. We'll get to that in a moment. Z, how was your trip here to the States? It looked like you had a lot of fun. I wish I would have been there. I could have been there. It's not really that far from here as far as on a plane. But welcome. So, if you are new to the channel, I am a Windows user that promotes Linux since, well, I guess since 2006. I've been promoting Linux as a Windows user on YouTube since 2010 because I like Linux. Well, at least I like certain types of Linux-based operating systems. And such as Ubuntu Mate, Linux Mint, Zorn, Peppermint. Those of you who follow the channel, you know the which ones I like. But I believe in the Linux desktop, in spite of what the title says. Again, that's not my title. That's not my belief. I don't believe that the Linux desktop is doomed personally, as long as the community is around, as long as volunteers are around like myself to keep Linux alive. I don't think that that Linux in general or the Linux communities are doomed. But there's some news this week that doesn't really give me much hope in terms of a Linux desktop for the masses, for all 1 billion Windows users out there. And that's the point of all this. So we'll get to that in a moment. All right, looks like we're all good here. The stream looks good. Let's go ahead and transition again. I do not have my webcam hooked up, so. All right, I'm assuming this looks good. You guys can hear me fine. R3 Pence, Repents is in the house. Hello, brother. What's up? Bruno Piras is clickbait. Oh my God, it's not. Believe me, it's not. And I'll get to that in a moment. I was gonna wait till the weekend, but there's just too much news going on, and I had some time. I don't go back to work until Friday. So once again, if you celebrate Independence Day with fireworks, please be careful. You know, one of these days I'll take a screenshot, or not a screenshot, but a picture of my scar that I've had for many years from fireworks as a youther, as a young lad back in my New York days. So I really do mean it. Please be careful this 4th of July if you celebrate it. The sound is good, thank you. Okay. Let me check my emails real quick. Let's see. AT&T tells me to save up to $10 a month by doing something. Anybody else have AT&T service? Cell phone service? Interesting. Okay, I'll have to check that out. Oh, it wants me to sign up for auto pay to save the money. I don't know about auto pay. I mean, I like AT&T service, but I'm not sure about auto pay on a cell phone service. What do you guys think? Here's an article. Amazon Alexa keeps your data with no expiration date and it shares too. That's news. Z, you have a half a dozen Amazon Alexas in your house, don't you? How do you like them? I'm just kidding, just kidding. Anyway. Vodafone, very good. I think my dad has Vodafone there in Rome in Italy. He's not too crazy about them. At least not lately. Z says you don't have one? Z, I don't blame you. I only have the one. I have the Amazon, the little dot, the Echo Dot. It is convenient. I usually disconnect it during the day, but it is convenient, you know, to set the alarm, set reminders, play music, put me to sleep. I use it out of convenience. Is it really necessary? Probably not, Z, but it is convenient. Johan says, no, those so-called smart speakers are the crap. Never in my house. Hello, Chuck. How are you? Farron, how are you? Robert CS68. Buy Red Pockets service off of eBay. Never heard of it. Way cheaper, same towers as AT&T, Sprint, Verizon. I've been looking at something here in the States called Mint Mobile. They actually have pretty good prices. Here's one article we will talk about briefly. Linux Mint confirms dropping 32-bit releases. Suppose no big surprise. And there's another article we will talk about. Linux Mint new PC, Mintbox. So, I guess we can get started with the articles. DT's favorite music player, Dead Beef. Wonderful. I love these names. I don't use Dead Beef. I prefer to use Live Cow to play my music. Just a personal, yeah. Mint Mobile, Red Pocket, or MV, and the MNVOs. Yeah, I might try Mint Mobile, Robert. The prices seem... I believe Mint Mobile here in the States works off of T-Mobile, if I am not mistaken. I'll have to check the coverage. Werne Klassen, hello. Guten Tag. Werne, if you're German, I don't know if you are, but that's all that I know. Guten Tag. I learned that off our friend Stephanie, so... Anyway, welcome to the live stream here for this wonderful Wednesday. Again, for all of you if you are new, I am a Windows user that promotes Linux since 2006. I call it as I see it. I use both Windows and Linux, although I use probably Linux now 80% versus 20%. And I just picked up my first Chromebook. Chromebooks are an excellent alternative for Windows users who don't want to upgrade to Windows 10 and just want a low maintenance affordable machine. Check out the Chromebook. Well, let's get started. I did mention the Chromebook. I have an Acer 15. Again, all the links will be below in the show notes. If you would like to support the channel and sponsor a live show, the best way is through PayPal. I trust them. So you can, donate through here if you wish. If you want to sponsor a show through here, or you can send me an email. There are other ways to support the channel through PayPal, Patreon, Amazon links, Super Chats, all that good stuff. All right, monthly news. Let me keep the chat locked in here. Robert, you're from the States. Very good. You're German descent, Werner, but live in South Africa. Awesome. All right, I'll try to keep track of the chat here. Is the music too loud? I got the background music through the YouTube audio library, just to add some ambiance to the stream. All right, well, Linux Mint is going to drop 32-bit OSs, ISOs, I guess, the next release. It says here, this is from blog.linuxmint.com. The announcement from Canonical that 32-bit support was to be dropped in Ubuntu 20.04 means that the future Linux Mint will only be released in 64-bit. If you have Linux Mint 19s, such as I do, they will be supported up until 2023. I have 2 ThinkPads that run Linux Mint, so I'm good for another few years, just to let you guys know that you don't have to give up Linux Mint. This is a bit confusing because didn't Ubuntu reverse their decision, at least for the next release or so? So, I mean, I'm not sure what's going on here, but this is the official blog. I mean, 32-bit needs to go away eventually, so all this, you know, brouhaha about Canonical's decision to drop 32-bit was a bit of a nothing burger for me, as we say in the States. Much ado about not much, in my opinion. But just bear in mind that the next Linux Mint will be main release will be 64-bit only. Of course, Linux Mint can change their mind if they want to. Why not? Yeah, they're talking about 32-bit architecture, not the libraries. Yes. All right, let's stick with Linux Mint. This is actually good news and bad news for the Linux Mint desktop for the masses. Linux Mint will have a new Mintbox PC. This is from OMG Ubuntu. This was also on the Linux Mint blog. And it's going to be pricey. There seems to be a trend with Linux machines that it seems like these machine makers, they're trying to snatch or extract Mac users. And I can tell you, for the people I know who use Mac, that is not going to happen. They have no chance. They are not going to switch to a Linux machine. A Windows user, you have a pretty good shot, assuming that the price is right. But there will be 2 machines available. One for about $1,600. And if you want their top of the line, you can buy this Linux machine for $2,698. $2,698. I know. You don't have to. We've talked about this. I get it. I know what's up with the prices. I understand. Hey, I'm just a messenger. It's, you know, it's great to have more Linux choices, Linux-based machine choices, but it's products like this, like these, that makes me believe that the Linux desktop, at least for the masses, except for Chromebooks, is pretty much doomed. Yeah, so I mean, I'm sure these are fine machines. It's based off the AirTop 3 from CompuLab. I'm not familiar. I mean, I know CompuLab, but I'm not familiar with the AirTop. If somebody has one of these or is going to buy one of these, prove me wrong. I have a feeling everybody watching this will buy none of these machines, if I had to guess. But if I'm wrong, please let me know. If you buy one and you love it, absolutely let me know. But yeah, so look for the next Mint box priced at either $1,600 and almost $3,000. I don't know what else to say. Let's move on. Well, Chrome OS gets its own cybersecurity solution called Deep Instinct. It sounds like a movie. Anyway, I've talked about Chromebooks before. I got my first Chromebook recently, the Acer 15. Wonderful machine. Low maintenance, if no maintenance, in a Linux-based machine. This is probably, you know, Chromebooks are again probably the best low-cost alternative for Windows users who just want to get on the web and don't want to fuss with, you know, fixing bugs, terminal commands, learning Linux. They just want to click and go. And there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. So this is going to make the already secure, according to this article, Chrome OS is already arguably the most secure operating system on the market. Well, maybe it's one of the best. I do believe it is secure and less prone to malware such as ransomware. That is on the rise again. But ransomware is big business. It's profitable. So the update to Deep Instinct solution effectively means the same robust prevention first offering that's already been available for Windows, Mac OS, iOS, and Android, and now with Chromebooks. Yeah, good news for Chrome OS. So if you have something like this, if you have a Chromebook, you are going to be more secure than Windows. I think that's been proven. You will probably have less headaches than Windows. I think that's been proven. The updates will go a lot more smoothly. That's definitely been proven. The update process of Windows is probably the least favorite thing of Windows. And that's why I use Windows maybe 20% of the time now, and not... Yeah, I prefer using Linux in general. So good news for Chrome OS and really Chromebooks. Okay, before we get to the main article, this is from lifehacker.com from Australia, mates. If you can't, this was a question, if you can't upgrade from Windows 7 to Windows 10, what should you do? This is coming from a reader, Daniela. They have, I guess she has zero experience in Linux. Well, Daniela, if you watch my channel, that's what I'm here for, to show you Windows users that there's something better out there, hopefully for you. And this article, replies that, always check with the upgrade compatibility check before you, think your Windows 7 machine may not run Windows 10. I will tell you this, if you have less than 4 gigs of RAM, do not try to run Windows 10. Yes, it will install, but you'll be disappointed in performance. You need at least 4 gigs of RAM to run Windows 10 somewhat comfortably. But the article states that if you don't want to do Windows 10, you can try, creating a live USB stick and try to run it from there. But for a person that has zero experience in Linux, are they really going to do that? I suppose if they come to my channel and I show them, they may. But on their own, is a Linux newbie really going to create a live USB stick to see if it will replace Windows 7? I don't think so. It's awesome if it can. And there's no mention of Chromebooks here. That's kind of surprised. They do mention Cloud Ready, which is based off of Chromium OS, a project that serves as a foundation. But again, a Linux newbie is just not going to do this, especially if they have, they're married, have kids, they have lives, they work. It's not going to happen. But just want to let you know again that if you are a Windows user and you don't want to upgrade to Windows 10, you don't want to install Linux and fuss with it, until I see an affordable Linux-based machine besides Chromebooks, I have to recommend Chromebooks for now. If you have the patience, absolutely give Linux a try. Peppermint OS, Ubuntu Mate, even Ubuntu if you have 4 gigs of RAM, Linux Lite, Linux Mint, and some others. Well, let's go to the main article here. This is what it's prices for Linux machines in articles like this, which lead me to believe that the future of the Linux desktop, not the community, I don't mean us. I want to stress that. And I don't mean operating systems. I don't mean Linux-based systems. I'm talking about prepackaged Linux machines, okay, which the future doesn't look too good in general. This is from slashgear.com. Well, Microsoft, once headed by Steve Ballmer, didn't Steve Ballmer call Linux a disease not that long ago? Anyway, it says here Microsoft, once the most outspoken enemy of Linux and open source, not only loves Linux, but it has become dependent on it. Interesting. A Microsoft engineer has just admitted that Azure customers have preferred Linux instead of Windows servers. What is a clear win for Linux in this market could also negatively affect other aspects of the operating system, most especially the Linux desktop, which after 25 years I haven't seen one yet. Chromebooks come close, but it's not enough, in my opinion. We need more choice. It goes on to state that Linux is everywhere. That's certainly true. Phones, servers, the space station, your car, microwave, refrigerators. it says here, it may not be the OS you'll see in offices. True. You definitely see it in a lot of YouTube videos, even though it says here you may not see it in YouTube videos. That's not accurate there. Kiosks, ATMs, probably, yeah. It is a lot of world's modern technologies running as far as Linux itself. It's not really a surprise for anyone watching Microsoft's Azure progress. Reports have been pointing to the rise of the use of Linux in Azure. Yep. So this is a win for Linux, as the article states here. All around the world, governments and institutions are switching to Linux due to the steep licensing fees Microsoft demands from customers. More than just saving money, the situation has also caused to really reevaluate their use of proprietary software. It often leaves them locked out without a vendor, like Microsoft decides to discontinue certain versions. Okay. The money is in the back end. There is undoubtedly a resurgence of interest in Linux and open source in general. Okay. For all that fame, one thing that has always bewildered people outside of the open source world is how money is made from software that is practically free. In reality, a majority of the business in Linux and open source revolves around providing services rather than selling software or software licenses. Let me say that again. The money revolves around providing services, fixing things, answers to questions. How do I do this? How do I do that? That's what you would see in a Linux tutorial on YouTube, I suppose. The big Linux vendors, Red Hat, Novell, OpenSUSE, Canonical, profits are from contracts with companies using Linux servers. Where the money goes, businesses go. This is probably an appropriate title to this paragraph here. The year of the Linux desktop never. Linux vendors offer services for desktop installations, but business may not be as strong as in servers. Linux desktop users don't always pay for support, and businesses are often more interested in Linux in the back end to power their Windows-based workstations. So it says here, in other words, there is little monetary motivation for the big Linux companies to spend their time pushing the Linux desktop. There's no question that the Linux desktop in general survives by volunteers, such as myself, by communities. But it is fragmented. We don't have a clear quality standard for Linux, except for Chromebooks, once again, for better or for worse. So this is why, I read something like this and, is a Linux desktop doomed? Not for the community. Absolutely not. For the masses, it remains a choice. It's probably not their first choice. And when we see articles like this and current prices for Linux machines, I don't know. What do you guys think? It says here Linux has quite a few technical hurdles in becoming the mainstream OS the Linux users have been dreaming of for years, including myself as a Windows user. Support from one of these companies is one of the latter. When companies that have the financial resources to push the Linux desktop forward lose interest, that Linux desktop will never be stuck in the community's hand. I'll read that again. When companies that have the financial resources, such as Canonical, to push the Linux desktop forward lose interest, that Linux desktop will forever be stuck in the community's hand. You guys might recall, earlier this year I did 5 Ubuntu shows at the possibility of having Ubuntu as a national Linux desktop, a national standard. We did 5 shows. I did it as a volunteer. There were no sponsors for that show. I waited for a reply, and the reply was crickets, silence. There's your answer. Somewhat disappointed, but not surprised. So evidently Ubuntu is not interested for business reasons, which I completely understand. And really, the only company that has been successful pushing a Linux machine to Windows users has been Google with their Chromebooks. They're priced right. They work. They've been proven themselves. They are more secure. They're solid, low maintenance, no bugs. That is the thing. The number one thing. No bugs. They are stable. And the machine I have that you can buy for $200 is flawless. Think about it. A Linux machine that is flawless. I can't think of any Linux thing that I've tried that has stayed flawless. It's gotten better. But the only Linux desktop or Linux machine that I see that shows promise and continues to grow for the masses is a Chromebook. Now, this article does continue that ignoring the Linux desktop as a business venture, however, may not be the smart move in the long run. Okay, I would tend to agree with that. Moving away from Windows to Linux is the lack of help in that transition and beyond. So one of the government's problems, academic institutions, is moving Windows to Linux without help. In other words, it is a prime opportunity for Linux vendors to step in and help for a price, of course. So we've talked about this, that the Linux desktop, Linux topics, generally speaking, are not profitable. You know, somebody asked me, am I doing this channel for the money? If I want to do it strictly for the money, why did I pick Linux? Why did I pick Linux? I do it because I believe in it and I love talking to you guys. But I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you see hope in the future of a Linux desktop? Not Linux-based systems, not the community. I'm talking about hardware. Is it doomed? Or it's too early to tell? Is there promise? Is there hope? I don't know. You guys tell me. Those of you who use Linux full-time, what do you think? I still have a dream of walking into my Best Buy, Walmart, and picking up a Linux machine, not a Chromebook, we'll put that aside. I still have a dream of picking up an Ubuntu machine, a Linux Mint machine, an ABC machine for about $400 so I can do Linux videos. I still have a dream to see that. Johan says, I don't think so. Okay. You won't touch Clear Linux? Well, Clear Linux has the backing of Intel. They certainly have the resources. Now, trust is another factor, but can they pull it off? Absolutely. Would it be my first choice, Clear Linux? Probably not. Right now, Chromebooks are my first choice because they have proven themselves at an affordable price. The article for this is below in the show notes if you want to read the full article. But it was this article that made me think, is Linux desktop doomed? And I don't think it is in the long run. But I think the title of the stream, with what I see in the news today, I think it's a valid question. You know, I try to pick news articles and see things and relate to these articles and extract from these articles the way I see it as honestly as I can. I'm not always right, but you know, I think over the years this channel has become a gateway or a forum or a portal, you know, for newbies, for Windows users coming to Linux who don't want to learn a bunch of terminal commands. They do not want to do Arch. They just want to install it, click, and go. There's nothing wrong with terminal commands. There's nothing wrong with Arch. But for the almost 1 billion users out there of Windows who want to try something different, they need somewhere to go, somewhere to start. And I think that's why I still do this. You know, it's hard. It is difficult. You know, one can only volunteer so much, as it were. Bastard says Linus is dead. I certainly hope not. Or do you mean Linux is dead? It definitely is not. Oh my. If there is enough demand for Linux hardware, then there'll be a market for it. Even if we buy it online, not actually walk into a brick and mortar store to buy it. But that's the thing, Robert. There is demand. Look at the sale of Chromebooks. They rock. And you can get them for as cheap as $100. Are you kidding me? And that's not the one I would buy. Or that is not the one I would recommend. I mean, Windows 7 usage went up this year because people don't like Windows 10. I'll say that again. Windows 7 usage went up. Even though it's expiring this year, it didn't go down, it went up. Are you kidding me? And why? Because they cannot walk into a store and buy a Linux desktop aside from a Chromebook. And maybe Chromebooks are not for them. So the demand is there. The market has not adjusted to provide those hundreds of millions of potential customers with a Linux machine. Now Google has stepped in, to give you at least one choice. I think it's awesome, but it's not enough. It's not enough in my opinion. Can use a Chromebook with an Ethernet hub. I don't see why not, Johan. I haven't looked into it. A Wi-Fi. So I don't have the problem with Wi-Fi in my Chromebook. It's fine. But yeah, I mean, sure, you can buy a Chromebook, but there are it's somewhat limited. I really can't do edit videos the way I want to in a Chromebook. The machines are capable. I just saw something. You can pick up a refurbished Pixelbook for $600, normally $1,000. It's a pretty good deal. But yeah, for multimedia, Linux in general, or at least the Chromebook somewhat lack. If all you want to do is go on the web and do this and do what I do, it's perfectly fine. But generally speaking, Chromebooks are not enough for me to use them full time. Now, for content consumers like yourselves, who just listen and look at this, Chromebooks are perfectly fine. But I want my Ubuntu desktop. I want a Linux Mint. I want a Peppermint desktop. I don't care which one. Just let me walk into a store. Let me try it out. Let me buy it. Give me a 30-day warranty or a 30-day money-back guarantee, and I'm good to go. But I'm not seeing it. I mean, it's been 25 years. Is it an unreasonable question to ask, is the Linux desktop doomed? I didn't say it was dead. Is it doomed? Cyber Lizard. Hi. The problem with Chromebooks and its relation to Linux is that most people who buy them are thinking Google, not Linux. I think that's a plus. And the reason why I say that's a plus is because when they think of Google, they're not thinking bugs or terminal commands or deb files, USB bootable sticks, if you know what I mean. So personally, I think that's a plus. Because Linux is so generalized, whereas Google is specific. If that makes sense. So the fact that it's Google making it, I think that's a plus. Look, we all use Google. Gmail, Documents, Google Drive, Android phones. So I think that's a plus, personally. In your office, you just can choose between Linux or a Win 10 desktop. Okay, which Linux desktop, Sensor? I'm curious. I think that's awesome, but which one? I could see Master is a real fan of Chromebooks. He's been using them for years. Nice. You rather have a Pi 1 running Debian? Yeah, that. If I tell that to a newbie, what did you say? Yes, Zorin OS. I'm hoping to do an interview with the Zorin team this month. I'm still looking for a sponsor. I haven't found one yet. I gotta stop being picky. I need to sell my integrity, don't I? No, I won't. So I'm hoping to do an interview this month with the Zorin team if I can find a sponsor. Anyway. Yes, they will sell Chromebooks. Zorin books are... I'm not really sure what they're called, to be quite honest. Zorin OS machines, starting at about $450. That's close to the sweet spot. That's good. I think that's awesome. I think they will have 2 machines available. So we'll see what happens. Yeah, we'll talk about that hopefully this month with the Zoran team. Linux hardware providers need to hurry up if they're going to cash in. They won't. I've seen nothing on the horizon, which leads me to believe that you will have a lot of choices for a Linux desktop for the masses, and that's why I think the near future, the Linux desktop is doomed, or not, you know, exciting. Yes. Dell has Linux laptops. I have not seen them at the sweet spot price of $400. You know, here's the thing again. Those prices, those machines are catering. It seems to me they're trying to grab Apple users, Mac users. It's not going to happen. You know. So I don't know. You know, the title of this was not meant to be clickbait, but an honest discussion about Linux desktop machines. Not the community, not the operating systems. That's not what I'm talking about. Romy Pistachio, what do you think about NixOS, GUIX SD? Are functional package managers still green? I'm not familiar with those, Romy. So honestly, I don't know. We really need to de-Google ourselves. I'm cool with that, Steve. Where do I go? Which machine do I buy? You see my point? Hello, Hank. Trying to get a Linux-based SMB network going. So far, you're really struggling to do the most basic things. Need to fix that. Okay. Good Abend. Good Abend. Is that good morning? Good afternoon? Anyway. I believe they do offer Linux. Or at least I know Lenovo does. I know about HP. HP no more? Oh, okay. Alright. Good evening. Very good. Well, for some of you, it is good evening, so good evening. It is 1:43 here currently in the state of Ohio. If it isn't easy for me and experience Windows as sysadmin to set up a basic network, Linux can't break it through on the desktop. How do I use roaming profiles or group? Well, Hank, you make a good point. If it is not easy for you as an experienced Windows sysadmin to set up a basic network for Linux, yeah, that's why we need, you know, we don't need, and I feel like a broken record, we don't need high-end expensive Linux machines. We have enough. You know, we have expensive machines in general with Mac. That market's taken. We have inexpensive machines with Windows. But not everybody is happy with Windows. You know, God bless Linux Mint. I love them, but to release machines like this at almost $3,000, I don't know. You know, this is why I think the Linux desktop for the masses in the near term is doomed, except for Chromebooks. But you're right, Hank. The Chromebooks are low maintenance, if not zero maintenance. I've only had it for a couple of weeks, but I haven't had to fix anything, Hank, on the Chromebook. They rock. They just work. I think they're perfect for Windows users who just want to get on the web. Hi, Switch. We'll talk about this more in the future, but for those of you joining late, this is the main article for the title of the show. Linux's success and service could pose problems for the Linux desktop. This is from slashgear.com. Linux is everywhere. And the year of the Linux desktop never. That appears to be the case. So we'll see. I'm probably going to start doing more, you know, shows, videos, tutorials on the Chromebook for Windows users. Unless I see something else on the horizon that is affordable. But right now I'm seeing nothing, zero. So... Alright, well, if there was anybody else new in the chat who would love to say hello, or have a question, please do, on any of the articles that you see here. You cannot see it ever happening, as the underlying philosophy of create and share, as everyone knows, leads to fragmentation and the ecosystem is overly fragmented. That was a #1 concern from Linus Torvalds, who is considered the father of Linux. But Chromebooks have proven that does not have to be so. They've proven it that it doesn't have to be that way. And they've done a pretty good job. So I would just like another choice. I should do a poll. Are you going to buy a $2,600 Linux Mint machine? Chromebooks are not interesting for professional work. And why is that, Hank? They are certainly capable of it. Especially the Pixelbook. Yeah, Tom from Switch says you'll buy a $400 open box machine from Best Buy, install Linux Mint on it. Awesome. That's probably what I would do. Switch. Yeah, and not spend $2,600, almost $3,000. Yeah, Switch. That's what I would recommend. Even to a newbie with some help. But see, that's the thing. A Windows newbie, Linux newbie, shouldn't have to do that. He should walk into a Best Buy and spend $400 besides a Chromebook for a Linux machine. Anyway, Awareness says $400 would be 5,000 rands, and that is acceptable. Yes, absolutely. That's why I said, and we've talked about this, me and Switch, $400 is the sweet spot for a Linux machine. That's why Chromebooks rock. You can buy Chromebooks for as little as $100, $200, and they just work. It's what I call a click-and-go machine. I have the Acer 15, but that's why these things sell. And you know what? I don't think they sell just because, oh, it's Google or because of Google. Because they work. They're affordable. They work. You just plug it and go on the web. And if that's all you want to do, you know, the Chromebooks are not a headache because you don't have to solve bugs if you are a newbie. Less time fixing things, more time for your wife, your kids. So, yeah. Chromebooks can be centrally managed using G Suite, and probably that's been done in schools for several years now. Okay. I mean, I'll be honest, the machine I have is a low-end machine. It's probably not something I would use every day, you know, for YouTube. It's a little bit underpowered. If you're going to get a Chromebook, make sure it has at least 4 gigs of RAM, at least a 32 gigabyte storage drive. This has 16, and I think you will be okay. I'm already running out of space on my Acer Chromebook, but does it work smoothly? Absolutely. Lord Charles Feversham, greetings. Welcome, sir. Linux will never die, but your dream is a long way off. Microsoft's sticky little fingers will see to that. Well, my dream is halfway there with Chromebooks, Lord Charles, but I know what you're saying. Yeah, that's why I titled this "Is the Linux desktop doomed?" I didn't say dead. Is it doomed, as in the future? But perhaps it is a long way off. Hank says, would make me dependent on the cloud-based management solution that ties into Google's backend. Many corporations won't settle for that. Okay. That's hence why we need another choice. This is probably a better choice here. A convertible laptop tablet for 250 bucks. I mean, who else is going to give you that? 4 gigs of RAM, 64 gigabyte of storage, which for a lot of consumers is fine. That's actually a pretty good deal. Yeah. Anyway. Cyber works for a national healthcare provider in the UK, and it is these government-backed entities which need to be won over. It certainly would make life easier. Okay, yeah. Some of your customers flat out refuse cloud solutions due to security concerns. Understandable. Here's one here, refurbished Chromebook from Dell for $97. 4 gigs of RAM. Just remember, if you buy a Chromebook, you generally cannot upgrade the hard drive, the storage drive, the SSD, or the RAM. They are soldered onto the board. I don't have a problem with that because, again, I'm not spending $1,000, so just so you know. The Pixelbook remains Google's flagship, so as far as machines are confirmed. Hello, Jan. Good afternoon from Mexico City. Welcome. Those of you coming in late, this is the main topic of the video. Linux's success and service could pose problems for the Linux desktop. You can catch the link for this below in the show notes. Does anybody here watching, does anybody have a Chromebook? Yeah, Warner. Yeah, they are partnering with Star Labs. Yes, a UK-based manufacturer specializing in computers for Linux. Yeah, I did read that. Again, I'm hoping to do an interview with the Z team this month. I don't have a date yet. I'll probably do that interview with or without a sponsor. Because I believe in what Zorin is doing. I think they've done good work, so I may just volunteer and do that without a sponsor. We'll see. Alright, Steve, you have a good day, mate. Hank, I think there's enough interest, enough desktop development. You know, when it comes to Linux desktop environments, we have lots of choices. There's something for everybody. I think what we need is a company to step forward besides Google and say, okay, we're going to do this ABC Linux desktop for about $400. Call it what you want. Pick a desktop environment that's easy. You know, Mate is fine. Maybe XFCE. You know, something simple, low maintenance. But it has to work. No flaws, no bugs. Yeah. Alright, I'll stick around for another 10 minutes and then I'll wrap this up for today. I need to get showered. Actually, it's not raining. I might go swimming first and get my other exercise in anyway. So again, if you celebrate the 4th of July, the holiday, be safe, especially with fireworks. Like I said, I still have a scar on my leg from many, many years ago from an accident in New York. So be careful out there. Yeah, Hank, unless businesses switch over for Linux. Well, yeah, that's partially true. But then again, there's power in the sale of the masses, So in other words, machine for the masses. If we have almost 1 billion Windows users, 800 million plus, that's a lot of potential customers, a lot of potential profits for a Linux machine. So, yeah. Is the average Linux desktop the modern Betamax, and is the Chromebook the modern VHS? Wow, that's an interesting analogy. Yeah, it is because of the word beta. Yeah, nah, I'm just kidding. Betamax, get it, haha. Yeah, that's probably an analogy. It appears that, at least today, Chromebook has won the Linux desktop market. That's right. You should see what happened to Guido when he got that scar. You spelled it wrong, Switch. It's Guido. Jeez. It's dropping to 5 degrees Celsius tonight in South Africa? Oh, wow. Okay. Do we really need a selling point? Your aunt, for example, got full freedom to pick what she would be learning as her first away. I provided the hardware. Oh, but that's the thing. Your aunt has a teacher. She has a service department. You. She has someone she trusts. You. For the gazillions of Windows users out there who have nowhere to turn to, or so it seems. That's not true. Of course, I help them as much as I can. That's different. See, that's the thing. Yeah. You don't want her to learn something she could only use on her own PC. Ah. Google has things better organized. Yeah. I would say, I mean, they're going to stop making tablets. I guess tablets are somewhat history, supposedly. But that's another topic. I love my Fire tab. Probably because you're a corporation with money on par with Microsoft's and Apple's. That's certainly part of it. But that's only part of it, Farron, because even a big profitable company like Google, they're not going to build machines like Chromebooks unless they're going to make money. So evidently, in spite of them being big, evidently those machines are still profitable. So yeah. Hello, Benjamin. Linux needs well-known software packages. Okay. I don't think that can be a problem. That can be remedied with a standard package management system. Right? Your mom nearly did not touch your laptop with Windows on. Ah. Now with MX Linux, you need a crane to tear her away from the laptop. Nice. See, that is the potential of a Linux machine. There you go. I think that's awesome. Ultimately, I suppose in the end, any product, any hardware based off Linux has to be profitable. They have to make money to survive, to continue. You can only have so many volunteers until they say, you know what, I can't work for free anymore. So ultimately, that's what it comes down to. Google has proven that Linux-based machines can be profitable. I don't know. Waiting for the, by the way, use Arch. Yeah, I'm not, you know what, I saw a tutorial of DT installing Arch. It was a heck of a tutorial, but yeah, it's, that Arch wiki, he pointed out a couple things in it that wasn't quite, good for newbies, so. Anyway. But hey, I would take a National Linux desktop based on Arch. As long as it works, fine. I'm cool with that. How do you like Arch, Benjamin? Microsoft planning a low-cost streaming-focused Xbox. Huh, that's interesting. It would be cool, yes, if the majority of the Arch community did not respond to noobs with read the bleeping manual. Look, I was an English major, and the Arch Wiki for newbies, I guess it's for newbies to install Linux, it needs some work. Archwitchy. I use the Archwitchy. Little wascally wabbit use Archwitchy. Yeah, I know. I'll have to put up a poll. Will anybody buy a $2,600 Linux Mint machine? Just out of curiosity, I'll have to put it just to see what I think I know what the answer is. Sounds like a cult, yeah. Toil and trouble, Archwitchy. Rolling is not as unstable as it used to be. I really don't know. Yeah, which witchy do you use? Yeah. Which witchy, Paulie? Samsung completes redesign of Galaxy Fold that fixes screen issues. I would hope for $2,000. Yeah. Yep, I will say the Istros. For all you Linux newbies, read the Arch Wiki to install Arch. And then buy a bottle of Tylenol and aspirin, right? Daystro. Yeah, Daystros. Yeah, Daystros. All right, 2-minute warning for comments, and then we'll wrap it up. Anything else for this article or anything else that we discussed? If you missed any of this, you can replay it. This will not be edited. Let me know what you guys think. Again, the main topic of this was to focus on Linux hardware desktops as far as the title of this video. Not Linux-based operating systems, not communities, just so we're on the main page, okay? Oh my goodness, Stromboli. One dead as island volcano erupts on island. Oh my. Alright. Alright, Cyber Lizard, you have a good evening. Jeez. Alright, anyway. Thank you, Werner. Thank you for stopping by. Yes, it was a fun time of chatting and laughing. I'll just say goodbye to Werner Klassen. He was fantastic. Goodbye, Schwarzenegger. Good to be here. I wonder what distro Schwarzenegger would use. Terminator OS. Anyway. Yep. Rolling does have an advantage. You don't have to wipe it every 6 months. Of course, with LTSs, it's multi-year, so it's not too bad. So, yeah. More news about the Mint box? Yeah, Robert. Terminator OS, no. Malware's terminated, bro. Yep, I know. This is what we talked about, Gnostic. You must have came in late. It's overpriced. I mean, for the masses anyway, so yeah. All right, any last comments or questions? Again, if there's anybody new, this is your last chance, at least for now. Say hello, ask a question, because I really do need to go. If Arch ever scorns me, Tumbleweed is your backup. Interesting. Okay. Isn't that the rolling Sousa? Benjamin? You are welcome, Jan. Thank you for stopping by. Rolling release, okay. Alright, so I think that'll be it for this one. I don't know when I'll be live on again. Of course, you know, tomorrow is the holiday, and I need to set up a date for the Zoran interview, probably sometime next week. Take a look at some potential sponsors, you know, for the channel and for that interview. Hopefully we can get it done sometime this month. Again, a reminder, if you would like to support the channel, for me, honestly, the best way is through PayPal. Check out the links below. You can also support the channel through Patreon, Amazon, or through the Super Chat, if you wish. So I think the next video I'll do maybe a little Linux tip tutorial on using a command in the terminal. Something different for the channel. I don't like to get too advanced here. There are plenty of Linux tubers doing fantastic advanced, you know, stuff. So I like to keep a little bit simple. So yeah. Jan Topper says now it's time to get some tacos. Yeah, that's actually sounds pretty good. Taco Bell, anyone? Alright guys, have a good one. I'll catch you sometime in the future. Arrivederci.